All right, let's jump right in. Today, we're going to talk about something called Swedish death cleaning. And I know, the name sounds pretty intense, right? But it's actually one of the most thoughtful and, believe it or not, life-affirming things you can do.
I mean, this book title really just cuts right to the chase, doesn't it? It perfectly captures the core idea behind a philosophy that's way less about preparing for the end and so much more about intentionally living a better, clearer life right now.
So have you heard of this? Maybe you have, maybe you haven't. Either way, it's a really powerful concept that's picking up steam for a very good reason. It goes so much deeper than just, tidying up your closet.
So, let's break it down. What exactly is it? Well, the original Swedish word is döstädning. It's a mix of do, which means death, and städning, which means cleaning. The whole point is actually simple and kind of beautiful: to spare the people you love from the enormous task of sorting through a lifetime of your stuff.
Okay, we have to talk about the elephant in the room, that name. It sounds pretty grim, I get it. But is this whole thing really about dying? Or is there something else going on here?
This quote really nails the two sides of the coin. It seems like people have one of two immediate reactions. Either it's super morbid and depressing, or it's one of the healthiest, most freeing things you could possibly do for yourself and for your family. So, which one is it?
And this is where the disconnect really happens, right? The direct English translation can feel so frantic, almost panicked. But the real Swedish idea behind it, it's so much gentler. It's more like tending to a garden. You're not just trashing stuff, you're carefully clearing away the weeds so that you and your family can actually see and enjoy the beautiful things you chose to plant there.
And that brings us to what I think is the absolute heart of this whole practice. This isn't just about organizing your stuff for you. It's about giving one of the most profound gifts you can to the people you'll one day leave behind.
Wow. I mean, this quote from someone who's actually been through it, it just says everything, doesn't it? Cleaning out a loved one's home isn't just a big physical job, it is emotionally exhausting. Just imagine trying to grieve while you're literally buried under decades of possessions, forced to make 1,000 tiny decisions. It's a heavy, heavy burden.
And here's another one that just drives the point home. It highlights such a sad reality. A lifetime of things that were once cherished can turn into overwhelming junk in the blink of an eye. Because when you're faced with an entire house, efficiency and just getting through it often take over, and things that might have been special just end up in a dumpster.
So at the end of the day, that's what this is all about. It's truly an act of love. You're making a conscious choice that your family's final memories of you are about connection and grieving peacefully, not about the stress of dealing with all your clutter.
Okay, so maybe you're thinking, all right, I get the why, but how? I mean, the idea of sifting through a lifetime of stuff can feel completely paralyzing. So where in the world do you even start? Let's break it down into some real practical steps.
A great place to start is the closet. It feels manageable, right? It's a contained space. So just use this simple 4-point check. And notice, it's not just about what physically fits your body. It's about what fits your life right now. If a piece of clothing doesn't make you feel absolutely fantastic, why is it taking up prime real estate in your closet?
And once you've conquered the closet, you've got this awesome momentum going. So where to next? You can ride that wave into other areas. A good rule of thumb is to start with the less emotional stuff, like old books, paperwork, kitchen gadgets, before you dive into the really tough categories like valuables or digital files.
All right, let's talk about the hard stuff, because we all know it's coming. We're not just talking about old sweaters anymore. We're talking about the photos, the letters, the family heirlooms, all the things that are tangled up with our deepest emotions and memories.
Here's a little mental trick that can really help. Try to separate the object from the memory itself. The physical thing, it takes up space. It can even become a burden. But the memory lives inside you. It's weightless. And the best way to keep it alive is by telling the story, not by holding on to the stuff.
Think of this as your permission slip. Seriously, letting go of an object doesn't mean you're letting go of the person. It doesn't mean you're erasing the memory. All you're doing is freeing yourself and your family from the physical weight of the item while you hold on tight to what actually matters, the love and the stories.
Okay, but what about the really personal stuff, like your old diaries or private letters that you wouldn't want anyone else to read? There's a brilliant and practical solution for this, and it's called the throwaway box. You just put all those things that are only meaningful to you in one box, and you label it clearly. This protects your privacy, and just as importantly, it makes it super easy for your loved ones. They know they can just discard it, no guilt, no second guessing.
But here's the thing.
Real death cleaning, it goes way beyond just the physical stuff. It's about getting your entire life in order. And that means tackling all that administrative chaos that can leave a family totally lost and scrambling during what's already a terrible time. Just stop and think about this for a second. A simple list of passwords? That alone could save your family hours, maybe even days of pure frustration. Knowing where the deed to the house is, or who your accountant is, or what you want to happen with your pets. These are absolutely priceless pieces of information. This is a massive part of the gift.
And speaking of important documents, this chart here breaks down two that are absolutely crucial. You need to decide who you trust to make healthcare decisions for you if you can't, and who you trust to handle your finances. Getting these legal documents sorted out isn't really for you, it's for the people who will have to step up and care for you. So, as we start to wrap this up, let's just pull back for a second. After all the boxes are sorted and all the papers are filed, what is this really all about? What's the legacy we actually want to leave behind?
Check out this number, because it really puts things into perspective. Experts say that about 70% of people over 65 are going to need some kind of long-term care. So by getting our stuff in order now, the physical, the financial, the legal, we're doing an incredible kindness for our future selves and for the people who will end up caring for us.
And that right there, that's the whole point. Your real legacy is not the stuff you collected over the years. It's the love you shared, the connections you made, and the impact you had on the people in your life. Decluttering just helps clear the way so that real legacy can shine through.
So, I'm going to leave you with a question to mull over. If you were gone tomorrow, what story would your possessions tell about you? Would it be a story of love, intention, and thoughtfulness? Or would it be a story of chaos and burden? The beautiful thing is, that's a story you get to start writing today.